So yeah, I'm streaming live right now. So this is just a random video I decided to do based on the news that came out today, which you will get from the title of this video. Phil Lord and Chris Miller has now left directing. They're directing for the Han Solo movie, which. Being a big fan of both Phil Lord and Chris Miller with their work, their previous work, especially the Lego movie, but other projects like the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and the 21 Jump Street franchise they've started. The thing I am really annoyed with this news is the fact that this is total bullshit right through, because so I'm going to go through and actually read the statement Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, and also the statement Phil Lord and Chris Miller came out with afterwards. This was what Kathleen Kennedy had to say. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are talented filmmakers who have assembled an incredible cast and crew, but it's become clear that we had different creative visions on this film, and we've decided to part ways. A new director will be announced soon. That was what Kathleen Kennedy had to say about this. This was Lord and Miller's statement. Unfortunately, our vision and process weren't aligned with our partners on this project. We normally aren't fans of the phrase creative differences, but for once this cliché is true. We are really proud of the amazing world-class work of our casting crew. This is why I'm calling bullshit on this. This movie has been shooting ever since January, February, so for approximately 5 months, and a lot of fucking planning before that. And first now they are discovering creative differences. That's bullshit. They had meetings for months. Phil Lord and Chris Miller had meetings for months with Lucasfilm talking about what they wanted to do with the video or with the movie, and this is exactly what's going through with studios when they are looking for directors. They have meetings, they talk about what they want to do with the movie, and they agree on certain things. And discovering creative differences 5 months after shooting, and if I remember right, 3 weeks after completing shooting, that's fucking insane. They don't... The industry... normally in the film business, or... yeah, this isn't something that usually happens. For example, let's take DCEU as an example. The Flash movie has been through quite a lot of shit. It started with, funny enough, script by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which later on got scrapped for some reason, which we don't know right now. They were signed to direct, if I remember right, but then they got the Han Solo movie, so they skipped that. The script got thrown away. They hired some new directors, or hired. They were in talks with other directors. They dropped out, and that is completely understandable, because the movie hadn't started shooting. It didn't have a script, it didn't have anything, and that's understandable to lose a director that early on. But lose both directors in a project that's been shooting for 5 months, that's insane. That doesn't happen regularly. And the thing I have a feeling is, because Kathleen Kennedy said, they are always like this, they are trying to sugarcoat it with saying Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are talented filmmakers. Yeah, they truly are, and I can't see any reason why you wouldn't want them working on the Han Solo movie. It's one of the only reasons people are even hoping the Han Solo movie is any good, because a majority of people, kind of including myself, haven't seen a reason for a Han Solo movie. Nobody really asked for a Han Solo movie. But the thing that people love about the Han Solo movie were the directors, because they are known for something, which is to surprise people. Because let's summarize some of the movies, and the ideas in general are quite weird. So let's take Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Scientist designs a machine that turns weather into food. Pretty weird synopsis, basically. But it worked. The sequel also kind of worked. Not as good as the first one, but it worked. Yeah, do you remember the old TV show, the cop TV show 21 Jump Street, with Johnny Depp? Yeah, they wanted to do a movie with that, with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. Seems pretty weird, because no one has really asked for a 21 Jump Street movie, but it worked. They are creative geniuses, and they are comic geniuses. Both Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they are genius in that field. Then we come to 22 Jump Street also worked, something that people did not expect based on the first movie, and same with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And coming to the biggest thing, even I was not sure when it was first announced, but as soon as Phil Lord and Chris Miller's names were on that project, I said, okay, it's going to be fucking amazing. And that was the Lego Movie. When I heard the Lego Movie was coming out, I said, okay, it's just going to be a long-ass commercial to sell toys. And no story, no character development, just poop and fart jokes, basically, like most of the animated kids movies these days. But no, it was clever, and most of all, it paid tribute to the Lego community. They fought through and made something worthwhile, and yeah, it was a big commercial for Lego sets, but it was more than just that. They did something that I don't think any other directors could have achieved with the Lego Movie. And that's just my opinion. Some may not agree with that, but that's my opinion at least. But the thing I feel with Lucasfilm basically firing them, because I am sure this wasn't a mutual thing, because I don't think Phil Lord and Christopher Miller would walk away from Star Wars willingly. Yes, for example, take the Lego Movie. They had Han Solo, Chewbacca, and fucking Lando in the Lego Movie. This movie was made for them. So I am completely sure that this is 100% Lucasfilm and most likely Kathleen Kennedy's choice, and I think it's down to one single thing, and that's the comedy. The Force Awakens was one of the first Star Wars movie that actually had a lot of jokes. Some of the there are some funny moments in the original trilogy, but not really comedy like. Yeah, I don't really know how to actually say, but it wasn't really haha funny. Yeah, it's funny. Prequels are kind of funny, but not in a good way. But The Force Awakens was one of the first Star Wars movie that was actually funny. Had some jokes when Poe Dameron talked back to Kylo Ren. Do you talk first or do I talk first? The thumb up lighter with BB-8, stuff like that. And I think that Lucasfilm are afraid to have something different. We aren't used to Star Wars being funny in that way, and Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are comedy writers. They are they do comedy. Just look through their filmography, starting with they've worked on multiple TV shows, including How I Met Your Mother. So that's comedy right there. They've worked on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, comedy right there. They've worked on 21 and 22 Jump Street, which are literally just comedy right through. And I think that is the reason why this whole thing actually happened. So I'm a bit pissed off because that was one of the only reasons why I was so excited for the Han Solo movie. There are still reasons to be excited for the Han Solo movie, starting with Donald Glover and Woody Harrelson. And Emilia Clarke. I am not too sure yet on Alden Ehrenreich. He's a good actor, no offense to him, but he is a good actor, but I'm not too sure if he can achieve the same charisma and like gravitas as Harrison Ford. And it's such a hard limit, or it's such a hard task for him overall, so I give him all the power in the world to actually achieve that. But as of right now, based on the things I've seen from him from like Hail Caesar, he is a good actor, but I can't really see him achieving the same amount of charisma as Harrison Ford has done throughout the years as Han Solo. With the fact that he's playing a younger Han Solo, they could make it somewhat like that, but I'm not too sure as of right now. So the main two reasons why I'm still excited for the Han Solo movie is because of Woody Harrelson and Donald Glover. Woody Harrelson, we still don't... I can't remember the characters he's playing, but he's the mentor figure for Han Solo, and Donald Glover is, of course, Lando. And that is just amazing casting right there. I can't wait to see him as Lando. There's also talk, or fan speculation, about a Lando movie. That sounds really interesting, but keeping to this whole Phil Lord and Christopher Miller being fired from Lucasfilm, overall, it's really disappointing. I woke up to this news and was just, yeah, it's terrible, because they are two of my favorite directors overall, and I've loved almost everything they've worked on, especially the Lego Movie. And I've said that so many times on YouTube, but you don't know how much the Lego Movie actually means to me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, just because how much Phil Lord and Christopher Miller respected the Lego community. Because the Lego community is something that's often joked about, especially when outsider people who aren't Lego fans see the Lego community at the events and stuff like that. A lot of people make jokes about the Lego community, and I loved how much Phil Lord and Christopher Miller actually respected the Lego community and gave tribute to them, if anything, especially with the fact that the Lego Movie also has a lot of collaborations with AFOLs around the world, with different stop motion videos that are shown in the actual movie, and stuff like that is why I really respect Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Going though back to this whole thing, there is one silver lining throughout this. There have been coming out rumors now that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller has been in contact with Warner Brothers over the there was like a break when they were shooting Han Solo, and during that break they were apparently in contact with Warner Brothers and the DC relating to The Flash, which, funny enough, I'm wearing a Flash shirt. This is really interesting because the Flash project, or the Flash movie project, has been through hell, basically. Uh, a script by Phil and Chris, which later on got scrapped. They've lost like 3 directors already, and now there is talks about Robert Zemeckis, the director behind Back to the Future, that he would be directing the Flash movie, which would be perfect. But with this new rumor, there might be a chance that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller may return to the Flash movie instead of Han Solo. Even though that's really bad for the Han Solo movie, that's really, really good news for the Flash movie, because it's been through, yeah, as I said, it's been through hell basically, and locking down those two as director on the Flash movie would be absolutely perfect for that movie, and it can really help the DCEU, because right now the only movie in production is Aquaman and Justice League, of course, but that comes out later this year. The only future movie after Justice League is Aquaman, and we are kind of in pre-production for the Batman movie. Oh damn it, I forgot the director's name. Matt Reeves, yeah. Matt Reeves is now doing press for War of the Planet of the Apes. Immediately when he's done with that, he will be starting writing a script for the Batman movie. And if I remember right, he might be co-writing it with Ben Affleck. I'm not completely sure as of right now, but that's kind of what's going on with the whole thing, or that's at least the rumor at this point. And yeah, I really hate when these type of company disputes or creative differences happen, especially when it's something this late in the game. They've been shooting the movie since January, and now realizing 3 weeks before finishing the movie that, oh, we had creative differences. That's bullshit. That doesn't happen. They have, yeah, I've already said this earlier in the stream, they had meetings about this months in advance, then they actually announced it, and after that they started shooting, and yeah, I'm just really curious how this will actually turn out in the long run. One other thing that will happening soon, as Kathleen Kennedy said, a new director will be announced soon. The question is, who? I am somewhat hoping for them to pick someone in the Lucasfilm house. For example, a lot of fans have been talking about Dave Filoni, the guy who's behind Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. That would be truly amazing if they actually got Dave Filoni to direct the Han Solo movie. I don't know how much of what Phil Lord and Christopher Miller did they will still keep, because the movie is still slated for a summer 2018 release. And if they decide to reshoot the whole movie, that will be very weird, and the movie will probably then be released in December, just like all of the other Star Wars movies we've got from Lucas or Disney and Lucasfilm the past years. So that is one thing I'm at least hoping for, and a lot of fans are also hoping for, but they can basically pick anyone they actually want, and I don't know of any director that would turn down working on Star Wars, basically. That's something I'm fairly sure no one would actually do. They might be hesitant or something, but in the end they will say yes. So basically anyone who is willing to direct will probably get the chance. We don't really have any clue as of right now, so On that, it's basically just to wait and see. I hope that they bring in someone that knows the Star Wars universe and not just pick anyone. Dave Filoni would be a great pick if you ask me, or any of the previous directors like Gareth Edwards or J.J. Abrams. But we never know. They can basically pick anyone they want. Trying to think if there's any other thing I forgot to mention about this whole thing, but yeah, that is pretty much it. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller has now left the Han Solo movie. Lucasfilm are going to announce a new director soon. This might mean that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller will return to the Flash movie in some way, shape, or form, but we have no official news about that as of right now. Nobody has watched this live video. This was just me talking about this news because this really aggravated me, or yeah, it wasn't good news to actually hear because I was so excited for Phil Lord and Christopher Miller to work on a Star Wars movie overall, but especially the Han Solo movie, because I didn't have much hope for it to begin with. So this was basically all I had to say about this topic. Please let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comments down below. And please rate, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you guys in another video. Thank you for watching.